Will North Korea give up the nuclear weapons?
No, they will not. I think here's another case where I think President Trump was on the right road in the beginning. People didn't like it because it was a confrontational road. I think the only way that we're going to get a non-nuclear North Korea is if we do it ourselves by military action. I think that can be done surgically with non-nuclear forces, with conventional forces. I think it could be done in a matter of hours with 3 aircraft carrier groups. You know, we don't have to take out what we must take out at minimum. You know, is their long-range ICBMs that can reach the United States and our territories to keep the American people safe from a nuclear North Korea. If our allies are content to live in a mutual assured destruction relationship with North Korea, as they appear to be willing to do, then so be it. But the American people shouldn't be forced to follow their lead so foolishly, because I think that mutual assured destruction relationship will result in mutual assured destruction in the long run. So yes, I think and President Trump was on the right path. But again, you know, when Mr. Pompeo went from being the CIA director, to being the leader of the State Department, it seems like the first thing he did was listen to the Obama holdovers and the State Department staff and said, oh, this is wrong. We need to get off this confrontational path with North Korea and follow the path of negotiation. And so now we're on the same pathway that the Bush administration and the Clinton administration and the Bush administration and the Obama administration followed unsuccessfully down the road to the point that now North Korea has got a hydrogen bomb and missiles that can reach the United States.
And they're testing for an EMP, you believe, right?
We believe they already have that.
Were some of their rockets being launched at a trajectory and detonated for the purpose of testing EMP?
They did at least one of those, that even the South Koreans and the Japanese independently arrived at that same conclusion themselves when they launched one straight up, and it was fused for high altitude detonation. Now, they didn't detonate a nuclear weapon, but the reentry vehicles fused for that, and it just was a classic signature of them practicing an EMP. And there were other missile tests that they did that like overflew Tokyo, and the apogee of the flight was right over Tokyo, you know, ideally placed for putting an EMP field over both the Japanese home islands and South Korea. So there have been more than one such test, but also, you know, the North Koreans themselves, when they did their hydrogen bomb test, they described it as designed for super EMP effects. And the day after that was September 3rd. The test was on September 2nd, as I recall, and then it was September 3rd. They released a technical report that accurately describes a super EMP weapon.
What year was that?
That was 2017. It was September 3rd, 2017 when they did that. And the commission is concerned. We think they've had the super for quite a while. We think the first nuclear test they did back in 2006.
Super EMP.
Yeah, the super EMP was probably a super EMP warhead, the 2006 test, and several of the other tests. You know, the international community was dismissing them as failed tests because the yields were so low. You know, they were 1 to 3 kilotons, under 10 kilotons. You know, 10 kilotons is the Hiroshima bomb, which is considered sort of a minimum yield for a first-generation weapon. It's actually hard, you know, technically, to get down below 10 kilotons. You know, if you're going to use the minimum critical mass, you usually end up with 10 kilotons as your first test. And it's actually hard to make a weapon specifically designed to come up with these lower yields. You know, we didn't get lower yield weapons until later in the Cold War. But there's a special, the super is not designed to create a big explosion. It's designed to put out gamma rays, okay? And, you know, the seismic signals, the yield of these things, the sizzle in the signal, sounds like a fizzle, you know, looked like gamma rays coming out. And the commission concluded that, wow, this first test in 2006 is probably of a super EMP weapon. And maybe the next couple of tests were of that. And we also, of course, I mean, I'm kind of telling the story backwards, but, you know, 2 years before that, we were warned by the Russians, by two Russian generals who were top EMP experts, that the design for Russia's super EMP warhead had accidentally leaked to the North Koreans. And oh, by the way, there were also Russian...
Is that quote accidentally?
Yeah, well, in effect, that's what they're saying. Yeah, I'm saying accidentally. They're saying that for real, that they really wanted us to believe that their design had accidentally, you know...
but China and Russia are behind North Korea, are they not?
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do China and Russia want North Korea to remain a nuclear state?
Sure. I think to complete the story, though, they also said that Russian missile scientists and nuclear weapons engineers were also working in North Korea, but that wasn't a deliberate policy of the Russian government. So what I think they were doing was trying to cover their tracks. They knew we would find out that North Korea eventually had gotten this technology. How could they come up with a super EMP weapon on their first test, okay? It would be obvious that either Russia or China had to transfer to them. Russia would be the biggest suspect because they have bad habit of transferring WMD technology to other countries. And so they demarched us to try to cover their tracks. That was the reason for that. Now, why would Russia and China want North Korea to be a nuclear weapon state? I mean, this is another delusion that the Obama administration State Department had and that our current State Department still has, where they believe that Russia and China can be used as partners to help us disarm North Korea of its nuclear weapons. But North Korea is a pawn in a larger geostrategic chess game that's being played against us by Russia and China. What they want to do is two things. First, they want to win. I believe we're in World War III already, okay? And they want to win this World War III without having to fire a shot, in effect, okay? By making North Korea such a threat to our allies and to the United States itself that it will change the geostrategic calculus of risk and benefit for us to provide security guarantees to our allies in Japan and South Korea. And at the same time, their confidence in our security guarantees will be drastically undermined because Tokyo and Seoul aren't going to believe that we are willing to risk and to lose Chicago, New York, Washington in exchange to protect them. That's just not plausible that we would be willing to get into a nuclear shooting match with North Korea in order to save them from North Korea. And therefore, our allies might turn to Russia and China to try to cut a deal with them and say, well, what do you want from us in order to denuclearize North Korea? Or to at least give us confidence that you won't unleash North Korea on us. And at the same time, they're hoping that Washington, the American people, will say the risks of ensuring the security of North Korea and Japan and our other Pacific allies is just too high. I don't want to risk my children for these people who haven't been willing to spend money on their own security to the level that they should. So we should go into an isolationist posture, become a fortress America, and just look out for themselves and pull out of the Pacific. And I promise you, if we do that, next what we'll see is Iran going nuclear officially, overtly. And because the Russia and China will employ the same strategy in the Middle East and against European NATO, with the Iranian nuclear threat, where the risk of upholding our security guarantees to those allies will become so great that it won't be worth the candle. And so we'll pull out and go, and that'll create a power vacuum into guess who will move into this power vacuum. Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea will move into the power vacuum, and they will change the world order and recapture the world order, hopefully, without having to actually fight a nuclear war. But if they did have to fight a nuclear war, isn't it much better to use North Korea as your proxy to fight a nuclear war and Iran as a proxy to fight your nuclear war instead of doing it directly?